Hello everyone and welcome to Wiki Weekends, where we pick a topic on a wiki page to just have a little fun and talk about. And I am your host Lucas Holland, and I am joined as always by the one and only Karl Smallwood.
Hello.
And Karl, doing it again, we're bringing it back. I think it was maybe one of the first topics we covered on the new Wiki Weekends channel. We are bringing it back. We're bringing back Mass Effect.
Yeah, Mass Effect Mondays on a weekend, shut up.
Mass Effect Sundays. One of the reasons that we are bringing Mass Effect Sundays and Mondays back, Karl, is because over on my Twitch page, twitch.tv/Legend of Kanto, we are currently playing Mass Effect 1. And not only that, but we are playing Mass Effect 1 where chat decides whether we go Paragon or Renegade mode.
And I did like, though, the first time we did it, immediately people just spammed like 16 different things to go Renegade. It's like, well, I'm trying to see where this is going.
I assume that all of the playthrough is probably just going to be a Renegade run, because people want to see shit go Renegade.
That's the one, is like... Here's a pro tip for any content creators out there. Like, give your audience a choice, but, like, not really.
Because the choice is so meme-ified that everyone's just going to pick the meme option.
Yeah, it's like if you say, oh, I'm going to do, like, a run of Undertale, what should I do? Everyone's just going to pick Pacifist Run or Genocide. There's only, like, there's no real choice of what to do. It's like one or t'other. It's like, for a good example of this, go look at AGDQ. Of like, oh, should we save the animals in Metroid or not?
And the only reason that sometimes it gets close to not saving the animals is because that's been going on so long that a lot of people are now like trying to go full 180 with the meme and going like, no, kill them.
Yeah, the meme has become an anti-meme, as it were. And I remember one day just being really like weirded out when I realised that's the same way you get kids to eat vegetables. It's like you pretend to give them a choice of like say, oh, do you want to eat vegetables? No. You don't say to a kid, do you want to eat vegetables? You say, do you want to eat your vegetables now or later? Do you want to eat your meat first or your vegetables first? And they think they're outsmarting you by picking the option that they... But no, I want you to eat your vegetables.
Well, like, another good variation I've seen is like, well, the kids have got like, a plate of veg left or half a plate of veg left or whatever, and it's like, I tell you what, I'll let you only eat like 3/4 of it. I'll let you get away with not having some of it.
But then you have to eat that. You have to, like, go straight to bed or something like that.
But it's like they think they've got one up on you because they're like, well, I'll let you leave one broccoli.
Yeah,
you can get away with like not eating that one broccoli, but you got to eat the rest. And they're like,
And they don't realise same thing that I do on stream. Like when I stream Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, it's like, oh no, like, oh, should we go see phase 2 of this fight? Let us know in chat, put 1 or 2. It's like, no one's not going to want to see the second phase of the fight, are they? But it's like, you ask the audience, because people like to feel involved. Speaking of feeling involved, what we're talking about in Mass Effect.
I don't know what that segue is, because feeling involved is feeling the Solarians.
The Solarians are such a cool race. Let's go. Tell me about the Solarians from Mass Effect.
Every race in Mass Effect is a cool fucking race.
Don't forget, though, the Solarians fucking did the genophage bomb. The most horrific weapon of, like, science fiction.
But if you play Mass Effect correctly, and obviously there's going to be spoilers for Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 here, but if you play Mass Effect correctly, Karl, Mordin does reverse that mistake.
The thing that I never get is, I get that it's a moral choice, but I will never understand the people who are like, no, the Krogans are too dangerous. It's like, you've literally got one on your team who's like, we just want to have kids.
I get it from maybe that outsider's perspective where it's like purely clinical thinking like a Mordin. But when you're actually like having conversations with Rex, your bro, and it's like, damn, we're just trying to like stay alive and we're really struggling.
It's like, no man, the Krogan are too dangerous. Not too dangerous to win your war against the Rachni, eh? Yeah. That's why the universe is great, because obviously it leads to these discussions. Exactly. Tell me more about Solarian.
So the Solarians are the second species to join the Citadel. The Solarians are warm-blooded amphibians native to the planet Surkesh. Solarians possess hyperactive metabolism. They think fast, talk fast, move fast, And do musicals fast.
I'm quite good at genetics as a subset of biology because I am an expert, which I know is a tautology.
Like, I bet Solarians really like Dragon Force. Are they fucking
No, they don't, because it's not hype to them. It's just regular speed.
No, they like Nightcore and Dragon Force. They're like me when I was 15. Let's go.
It's like, what does 200 BPM sound like to them? It's just, it's regular.
No, do you know what I bet they love? I bet they love Step Mania on like 1,000%.
But then they mod it and change it to like even faster.
Yeah, do you like people who play like those modded versions of Rock Band and Guitar Hero? It's sped up by 500%. Mm-hmm. But they fucking love that.
Yeah, literally, to Solarians, other species seem sluggish and dull-witted, especially the Elcor.
What they got against the Elcor? What they got against the elephant people?
Because the Elcor like don't normally communicate via speech. Their speech is super slow.
Yeah.
And sluggish. So like for Mordin, he's sitting there like, come on, get to the end of your sentence, man. Like, oh, must be like really frustrating to hear them talk really slowly. And it's
genuine intrigue. How are you today, Lucas? Okay, I can see that'll be annoying.
Especially and the Solarians, they're like, oh, man.
Is it like Solarians only live for like 30 fucking years as well? Something stupid like that?
Unfortunately, their metabolic speed leaves them with a relatively short lifespan. Solarians over the age of 40 are a rarity.
That must be terrifying. That must be, annoying in a universe where you can go to a pub and meet a 450-year-old Asari who's like, yeah, I'm just getting out of university. It's like, what?
Yeah, when Liara's like, yes, I'm 150 years old. I am merely considered young in our age. It's like, And Mordin's there, like, itching at 30, like, oh no, it's coming.
The thing is, though, how relatable is that? Like, a 30-year-old Solarian feels like they're an OAP. I get that sometimes. When I wake up with a hangover, I sometimes feel like I've aged 50 years overnight.
It says here that Solarians are known for their observational capability and non-linear thinking. This manifests as an aptitude for research and espionage. They are constantly experimenting and inventing, and it is generally accepted that they always know more than they are letting on.
Yeah, and one of the things I adore about the Solarians is that when you ask them this, they're like, yeah. So why it's not advantageous to let you know everything we're thinking? Mm-hmm. Why would we do that? And hopefully we get to cover like their military, because I love the quote from Mordin about their military. Like, is it true Solarians always just ambush people? I was like, yeah, why would you tell us you're going to attack them? That's stupid. What are you, an idiot?
And we will get on to that. But we'll talk about their biology first. Now, I will say, we constantly up the Mass Effect universe for how great its, different world-building elements are and stuff. And the one thing I do find frustrating is that due, I presume, to, like, gameplay limitations, all of the races that have to be party members are all just, like, relatively human-shaped bipedal races.
Including the robots and stuff, yeah.
And I get it. You have to kind of, like, build that skeletal model based around humans so that you can, like, program things correctly and things work easier and motion capture and stuff, but it's one of those things that I have to mention every now and then. Of like, it is a bit of a shame, but
yeah. And there's I think Star Trek probably handled this the best. With like the thing like we need to explain this, they just say before all the races existed, there was one precursor race that put like the seeds of like genetic diversity out into the universe, and basically it just all conforms to their base form. Which is why every alien in Star Trek, is roughly humanoid shaped, but with like no distinct differences in like no.
Oh, Carl, Star Wars, Star Trek, they're the same thing, right?
Well, I'd say Star Trek's got more better world building, but yeah.
I mean, no, I was just saying it to trigger people. I know that Star Trek has like 1,000 times better world building, considering like the rant we went on during the Ahsoka video of just how poor it is in Star Wars.
Well, like we talked about it during the first part of the playthrough, where like I legitimately think the first Mass Effect game, the first one with its codexes and conversations and just the general stuff you can interact with, has better world building than every Star Wars movie and TV show combined.
Well, I mean,
the universe feels broader than Star Wars because Star Wars is just 6 people.
And we're talking about Star Wars movies.
Yeah, and the TV show as well. Like that was the joke I always make of, in this entire universe full of mystery and wonder, 3 people matter, and that's Star Wars.
That is Star Wars.
You never hear a story that doesn't, in some way, relate back to the Emperor, Luke Skywalker, or Darth Vader.
There is no escape, my young apprentice.
But during our stream, right, our first stream, we've done one so far, and we did the first mission on Eden Prime, and then we went to the Citadel, and we've played for about 3 hours, and Garrus, Tally, and Rex are on our party now, and I think genuinely within that first 3 hours, we encountered more aliens, more cool world building than Star Wars ever really establishes.
We're just and that's the thing. And when we say, we don't mean that as a bad thing, but it's frustrating that Star Wars, the universe, always tries to portray itself as being bigger than it is. It's that Ahsoka TV show's coming out. And it's like...
It's already out a bit, yeah.
It's already out, and it's like, well, we know... To me, it's like, well, I know it's going to lead back to Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, because that's everything Star Wars related always leads back to that. It's like, Andor, that's a great TV show. What does it lead to? The first movie where Darth Vader's in it. Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show, Darth Vader. The prequel movies, Darth Vader. The sequel movies, the fucking Emperor comes back.
Do you not love it, though, when Obi-Wan was, spending his years as a hermit and in secrecy, and it
just
led
watching
back
Luke
to
Skywalker.
having Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, and it's admittedly, the Mass Effect universe revolves around Commander Shepard, because they're the main player character, but the universe just feels altogether... you feel like there's a universe that exists outside of what you're doing.
I think the main difference is Mass Effect feels like they spent years building a universe in advance, whereas Star Wars feels like it's built as it goes.
Yeah, Mass Effect put a character into a universe, whereas Star Wars is building a universe around a character. Which I think is a good way of putting it. Part of that universe building stuff like the Solarians, where just that brief conversation, or that brief intro he gave about them being having hyperactive metabolism, talking fast, thinking fast, is infinitely better than almost every other bit of sci-fi I've encountered and interacted with, where it's just human with shit stuck to their face.
And the fact they also have that race that is almost the opposite in the Elcor. And it gives that, I don't even think it really comes up in the games, but the fact that it's in the world building. And, again, another thing, I have a criticism of a lot of the world building in, Star Wars is done outside of the main content, whereas, in Mass Effect, it is all there in the codexes and stuff.
Yeah.
And, you can argue, it should always be in gameplay, but, a lot of it is in gameplay over the 3 games. The fact that you can go through and read so much more detail in the codex.
Yeah, even if you just say you're sticking to the main games and you beeline the way through it, just interacting with the 5 members of your party that are aliens, and learning about just going through the game with 2 aliens in your party and having that alien race's values inform decisions is interesting.
It's like we were playing through, and one of the first missions in Mass Effect on the Citadel, you've got to go take down Fist, and Fist is this bar owner, and Rex warns you, look, do what you want, but Fist is mine, I'm gonna kill him. And because we had Rex in our party, he just shot him dead.
Yep.
Whereas if we didn't take if we didn't take Rex the Krogan into that mission where he had pre-warned us that he's just gonna shoot Fist dead, no one would have shot Fist dead.
But you could have the choice to do it. And you can even talk to Rex after the fact. And, and even if you have that choice, depending on who's in your party, some of the alien races are a lot more pragmatic, some of them are not. And it's just really interesting.
And even Garrus was just yeah.
I see it.
Yeah, I get it. It's not fair enough. Because, Garrus 2 minutes ago would just 360 no-scope somebody to take an hostage, so...
And you could be yeah, bro, that was sick.
Because you requested, Carl. I'll move on to the military.
The military thing is so fucking cool, if it's what I remember it to be.
So, the military of the Solarians, in principle, the Solarian military is similar to the Systems Alliance, a small volunteer army that focuses on maneuver warfare. What differentiates the Solarians is not their equipment or their doctrine, but their intelligence, services, and rules of engagement.
Yeah, 'cause isn't it that they just think all, like, the rules of war are stupid?
The Solarians believe that a war should be won before it begins, a doctrine also espoused by some of humanity's greatest generals, such as Sun Tzu.
Oh, man. Have you ever seen that legendary tweet from that girl on Twitter who was like, guys will talk about Sun Tzu being this amazing military genius, and it's like, and then you read his book and it's stuff like being on fire sucks, maybe avoid doing that. And the amount of like salty reply guys she got in response of like, you just don't understand warfare.
Oh god. That's brutal, Carl.
Is this the one about them like just attacking people out of nowhere? Please tell me it is.
Every war the Solarians have fought, they struck first and without warning.
Yeah, that's the detail you hear from like Mordin, and you're like, wait, what? And it's like, well, why would we announce that we're going to declare war? They just, that's what makes them terrifying though, is that they just decide that they don't like you, prepare for war, learn all your weaknesses, and then just strike one day without warning.
Yep, they just turn up and blow your shit up one day. Yeah, and you'll never get a trace of like upcoming information that they're doing so. They'll just turn up completely unannounced and wreck your shit because they decided to.
Just imagine though, one day you avoid the handshake of a Solarian, and then 2 years later your planet explodes, and you'll never know why.
For the Solarians, to know an enemy's plans to attack and let it happen is folly. To announce their own plans to attack is insanity. Mm-hmm. They find the human moral concepts of do not fire until fired upon and declare a war before prosecuting it incredibly naive.
Yeah, that's the thing. And isn't it as well? They say like, yeah, no one wants to fuck with the Solarians because just you'll not hear any rumblings until one day, just like one of your capital ships will explode because the Solarian got on board. It's like, that's a terrifying concept for an enemy.
It's terrifying, and the fact as well that like. They're like these ridiculously intelligent species that think faster than you do and just know more than you do and have like they all have like photographic memories, hyper intelligence, and one day without warning they will just turn up and win.
And that's just another concept as well, the idea that the aliens would have different morals to humans. Like again, we bring up Star Wars, like all the alien races in that, like when they become a Jedi, all just accept the Jedi doctrine without question. Because they're just humans with shit on their forehead.
With a couple of main character exceptions, yeah.
Yeah. But like in this universe, like you'll talk about like, the rules of engagement, and Selene's like, what's that? That's stupid. What's the rules of why would you announce that you're going to attack? Like, that would make sense. Like, they would have different morals and views on moral quandaries and ethical issues, which is like, a key part of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So the genophage, it's like, it seemed a logical outcome to stop the Krogans.
Yeah, like the Krogans were going to eventually overrun us all with their like incredible breeding capabilities. They were just, able to basically win any war through just producing more Krogans quicker than anyone else can.
We should look at the Solarian.
The logical thing is to slow down their reproductive abilities.
Yeah, and they don't see the ethical implications of doing that. It's like, why would that matter?
And it's only really when Mordin is presented with a more diverse group outside of just working with Solarian scientists that he starts to see like the horrors of war and reflect upon his actions. Yeah,
and that's the thing, and that makes their race feel truly alien, because that morality seems so weird, doesn't it? Like, you think, well, surely you should consider the moral implication of what you do. It's like, why?
Because you see when you take Mordin on his loyalty mission, I think it is, where his assistant has gone rogue and starts like experimenting on Krogans in like illegal ways.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my god, like this is horrifying and should not be happening.
But then you tell him, well, this is basically what your race did.
You're the reason why this is happening, Mordin. Like, you're the one who has forced them into a corner where this is their only option. Like, think about what you did. He does think about what he did, and he learns, and he becomes, like, actually mortified by his own actions.
Still years away from cure, but closer than starting from scratch. Done. Ready to go. Ready to be off to Chunka. Anywhere else. Maybe somewhere sunny.
And that's what makes, like, the universe of Mass Effect feel so much more lived in, so much more diverse. Mm-hmm. The fact that, they do have these completely alien cultures that are, like, so strange. Like, I think just that aspect there, them saying they don't declare war, seems so weird, doesn't it? It's like, well, and then can you think of any sci-fi where they have alien races that aren't just like monsters?
Again, and the answer
display
is
anything
probably Star Trek, I would assume, as a non-Star Trek watcher.
Like the Klingons or something like that.
Yes, yeah.
Who have, like, literally nearly 50 years of in-universe world building around them, whereas Mass Effect, this was the first game that was established. And that's the point there, isn't it, about it feeling so much more like, you've had 50, 60 years of Star Wars and Star Trek and stuff. Mass Effect with one game had a universe that felt as diverse.
So much. And even just during 3 games.
Yeah.
Like, even that alone, like, the Mass Effect trilogy is, like, it feels like an entire explorable universe. And it might not be, but it feels like it is.
Yeah, and just, it's all the little hints to stuff about stuff that happens. Like, just they say, the Geth. What the hell are the Geth? Well, they've not come from behind the Perseus Veil in, like, 200 years. Like, the fuck's the Perseus Veil? And the fact that you don't know, because it's something, obviously, it doesn't concern your character, why would you give a shit?
Mm-hmm. In defensive wars, they execute devastating preemptive strikes hours before the enemy's own attacks, and on the offense, they have never issued an official declaration of war before attacking. But yeah,
and that's the one, because they say their strength is it's espionage and counter-espionage, which is why I made the joke of just your capital ship will explode. So I want to say you're talking to, like, Mordin, they talk about that, of, like, 'cause he used to be, like, a commando or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, he was in a strike force of some kind, yeah.
And he'll talk about how, like, when you're on missions sometimes, of, like, if you just go through the front door, it's like, well, personally, I'd have snuck in and set a bomb.
Yeah.
And just little shit like that. But then Rex is like, nah, man, shotgun, let's go.
It would be stupid to let the enemy know you're there. Is that why don't you just sneak in, kill them before you know they're there, or just, leave, like, an explosive device or something, leave, and then kill them?
Why don't you just create a genetic disease that stops them from breeding and creates, like, and genocides their entire race? No, Mordin, that's wrong. What?
It says, while capable of defending themselves against most threats, the Solarians know that they are a small fish in a universe filled with sharks. As a point of survival, they have cultivated strong alliances with large powers, particularly with the Taurians, because the Taurians have the strongest fleet available in all of the known galaxy. It's like, if we have to be participant in a war, we know that we can, like, outmaneuver and have better tactics and be sneakier than the other person, but at the same time, we are still, like, not really built for war, and we should probably make alliances with those that are, aka the Taurians.
Yeah, but I do love as well their ships. They, like, Joe, when you're doing, like, the Mass Effect 3, like, get the war mission, and you got to get people on your side. Like, you'll talk to Mordin, and he's like, oh, so your fleet's, he'll say, our fleet's smaller than, other fleets, but it is equipped with, like, the most high-tech shit in the universe, including shit we don't tell you that we have. Because, why would we tell you we have weapons that are more powerful than what you have? Yeah. It's like, it puts a distinct disadvantage for our opponents to know the extent of the tools we have available. And I always made sure to get the Solarians on my side, because, like, you need their warships, because they add so much to, like, your war chest.
Yes, yeah. And obviously, like, the idea would be to ideally get everyone on your side, but yeah, definitely, like, Solarians are a good point, like, Krogans are a good one, Taurians are a good one, but yeah. But we'll just move on to, like, end with some trivia, Carl. So, according to Matt Rhodes, Associate Art Director for Mass Effect, the Solarians were the answer to the cliched grey man alien found in various sci-fi stories and conspiracy theories.
And it's just their take on it,
yeah. Yeah, it was exactly just a spin on it. It says the similarities include the eye shape, the overall head structure, along with the fairly long, slim limbs and equally slim torso.
Not to mention the propensity for experimenting on other races.
Yeah, true.
Seeing a lot of, like, alien lore, like, the grey aliens abduct and experiment on people. You can see, like, hints of that with their abducting and experimenting on other races.
Mind my pronunciation because I don't speak the language, but in the French version of Mass Effect, the name of the race was changed from Solarian to Galarian. In French, Sail à Rien could vaguely translate into dirty and good for nothing, Also, Sail Aryan, or Aryan, maybe it's Aryan. Yeah, could vaguely translate into Dirty Aryan. So yeah, just one of those little things of like, well, we've come up with a race name, but just like, let's check what that means in every language. Hang on. According to the art of Mass Effect, in reference to the Solarians' salamander-like appearance, the smooth, rounded appearance of Solarian ships makes them look as much like ocean-going vessels as starships.
And I fucking love that, yeah, because it's each race, or each key race in the Mass Effect universe is inspired by a different type of Earth creatures. So Solarians are amphibians, Taurians are birds, Krogans are frogs.
Potentially.
And the designs of their ships reflect the inspirations for the designs of their race.
Mm-hmm. Like the Solarians being like, oh yeah, we've got these cool, like, smooth, rounded spaceships. And then you look at, like, the Quarians, which are just nomads, and they're just, like, big square blocks.
Yeah, but then you look at the Geths, and they're just, like, completely alien in design because they're built with maximum efficiency in mind.
Why would you need windows, Carl?
Yeah, one of the best bits of little world building because it completely shits all over every other sci-fi universe. If people don't know, there's a mission in Mass Effect 2 where you're sneaking up on a Geth warship, and the Geth are an entirely like AI race, and like you're sneaking up on it, and like one of your crew members asks, "Can they not just look out of the window?" And the Geth member of your crew just says, Why? Why would we build... What is humans' obsession with looking out into space? Why would we have windows? It's an obvious weak point. Yeah. We rely on scanners, which your ship, as a stealth ship, can bypass.
Yeah, and obviously, that shows a strength of not just relying on scanners, but, yeah, an amazing point of, like, well, a window is just glass. It's a massive weak point, and that would be structurally unsound to put on a spaceship.
So we don't have eyes. Why would we need to look out into space? And just like now think about every single like bit of sci-fi you've consumed where like, the fucking Death Star's got windows on it. Like, why would you have that? It's an obvious weak point.
Thank you all for joining us on another Mass Effect Sundays. Yeah, come and join us for Mass Effect Mondays.
It's ongoing for a while because it's a long, long game.
To be fair, the first, we are just playing, like, we're not committing to the trilogy yet. You might have to convince us with some subs maybe to keep going through 2 and 3.
Yeah.
But Mass Effect 1 isn't that long. It's maybe about 20 hours.
Yeah, but absolutely tune in every Monday so me and Lucas can talk more about Mass Effect. I could talk about this shit all day.
Yeah, this 35 minute video could have been 3 hours long and we would have still just kept going.
Yeah, that's what I could talk about Mass Effect all day. It's such an interesting universe to delve into.
So yeah, come join us on Twitch if you want to see more.
Hell yeah. Can't wait to meet the Ragnar.
The Ragnar.
Fucking Ragnar, let's go.